I just got back from Europe, had an amazing time, absolutely unreal, full of so many crazy experiences. But I do have to say the most insane experience of the trip was actually the return. When I got back to Perth International Airport, I nearly got detained by Border Force. And that was a really strange, unnerving, just weird thing that happened. So I got off the plane and I made my way out the gate, and as soon as I left the gate, I kind of noticed that everyone was looking at me, like all the airport staff waiting outside the gate were just looking at me, and I didn't think anything of it then, but I walked a little bit further along to those little gates where they scan your passport and scan your face, and as soon as I went through that, some random guy just came up to me that works at the airport, and there's like, hundreds of people walking past me, but he walked straight to me, just made a beeline towards me, and like, in an over-the-top friendly tone, he's like asking me how my trip was. He's like, where'd you go? All this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, hands me a piece of paper. He's like, just declare whatever, anything you've brought in from overseas when you get to the next bit. I'm like, okay, weird. Anyway, and then I get to the next part. Like I've gone around the corner at the airport, so I'm away from that guy. And then someone else comes up to me and they're like, asking me about my trip, like, oh, where'd you go? How long were you there for? Oh, amazing. It's like over the top, friendly, like niceness. And I'm starting to be like, what is going on? Why am I getting singled out? Why is every airport employee coming up and talking to me? And then I get to the baggage carousel and I haven't even, I've barely gotten there. And some other lady comes up to me, Border Force, employee. She's got all the vest on and everything. And same thing, like over the top nice, just asking me so many questions about my trip, how long I was there, what I got up to, where I went. And as soon as I got my bag, it came around pretty quick. She started to get really rushed, in her speech. And she was like, oh, I just need you to come over around the corner here. And that was the border security area. And when I got there, I was sat down. I was told not to go on my phone or any other electronic device until an officer was with me. Those were her exact words. And so I waited for a minute or two, and then some Border Force officer comes up and same thing, just insanely nice, over the top nice, as if they were trying to disarm me and make me have this false sense of security, which was whatever. It was cool to actually be treated like a human being at the airport for once, even if it was for false pretenses. They thought I was, up to no good. But anyway, they went through all of my stuff. They made me open up my bag and they went through every single compartment of it. Just again, asking me a billion questions, where I was, who I was with, what I was doing. Why did I plan the trip so late? Why I went to these places in Europe out of all places. And, they were they would open up a vitamin C bottle, and they were has anyone put these in here? Has anyone put stuff in your suitcase that you don't know or you don't trust? I'm like, no, I'm not trafficking drugs here. I just went to Europe. It was last minute, whatever. But then the crazy part was they had me hand over all of my devices. So it was a phone, iPad, and my laptop. And they told me to give them my passwords to all of those devices. And, I just came off a flight of it was a 13-hour flight after a 4-hour connect after another 5-hour flight. So I'm 20 something hours of flying and traveling to get home at this point. And I'm just so over it. I want to go home. And I just gave them my passwords because, if you say no, they detain you anyway, and then they confiscate your devices until they can get a warrant or whatever to access them anyway. And so I didn't want to deal with all that. So I gave them my passwords, which I felt really weird about. I'm never given anyone my password to my phone and my laptop. It's just, I would never do that. But, it's Border Force and they have federal jurisdiction and a lot of power. So I did that. And they took my devices, one of the other officers took all my devices into another room where I couldn't see it, or I couldn't see what they were doing. And while that's happening, I'm still just getting interrogated. I'm getting frisked. My bags are being searched top to bottom, and they're tipping things out and all this stuff. And it's just crazy. And then after about 20 minutes of that, the other officer comes out after going through all of my devices, and he comes out and he's like, hey mate, did you crash an Audi? And I was like, yes. What? And he's like, oh, you flagged our system for gore. And I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, there was a photo of the inside of your head. I was like, oh yeah, that'll be right. Yeah, that was from when I, crashed a car a couple of years ago. Thanks for reminding me. He's like, yeah, it was That's all it was. You just flagged our system for gore because it was a photo of a massive hole in your head. He was like, oh, shame you crashed that thing. It looked like a nice car. And I was like, yeah, anyway. And I was like, so like, what's going on? Because at this point, it's been like an hour since I got off the plane and I'm just like wanting to get home because I'm exhausted. And she's like, oh yeah, you flagged our system. Your passport's kind of new. You booked this Europe trip like a few days out and you went to like some weird places. One of your suitcases was empty when you went over, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was almost detained by Border Force under the suspicion of me being some sort of like terrorist or drug trafficker or something, which I'm not. And that's been cleared now. And I'm kind of glad that I did comply because if I did give them any pushback or I was just kind of, I was not really relenting in giving my passwords up and giving answers, they probably would have put me on a list, which would like make things more complicated in future. So that's just the reality. If you want to just not be hassled, I guess you just have to comply. But that was a really weird experience and kind of soured the trip a little bit because, yeah, it was like really invasive and it was an interrogation. Like I had to answer hundreds of questions in, like 20 to 30 minutes. It was absolutely crazy, but it was a fun trip, really fun time. Went to some really cool places and I also got to partake in a new pastime that I have, something that I'm very, very passionate about, which is also the cornerstone of this episode. So I have been binge watching the Kardashians. Okay, secret's out. I have a newfound love for reality television, specifically this family of ladies who are, do we say business moguls? I don't know. Is it a bit of a great, what do we call them? I guess they're all pretty much business moguls now and reality TV stars. Some of them have questionable origins, but I'll tell you what, it is like the most entertaining and enthralling TV show I've ever watched. I never thought I would love the Kardashians. Like if you told me 5 years ago that I would love reality TV and I love watching the Kardashians, I'd be like, are you insane? Are you crazy? That is not me. Like people always talk about Love Island and Married at First Sight and things like that. And I'm like, oh, that's such trashy TV. It's like mindless nonsense garbage TV. I'd never watch that. Such a waste of time. And here I am watching like 3 seasons of the Kardashians on one plane flight. And I developed like this affinity towards all of the Kardashians and the Jenner sisters. And like, I found myself like sticking up for them in comment sections on Instagram and even Facebook. I saw someone made Yahoo Lifestyle made a post about Kylie Jenner or something, and people were, disparaging her in the comments. And I was coming to her defense in the comments. I was like, oh, she's not actually like that. And then I was like, what am I doing? I called myself out. I'm like, this is not me. Why am I all of a sudden a Kardashian fanboy? And It made me realize, and like it's crazy. Like I'm literally like sticking up for the Kardashians and like just talking to my friends, and like they can't believe that I'm such a fanatic for the Kardashians, and I know so many things about them. And like while I was on the plane, I was just watching an episode, and I found out Travis Barker, who's Kourtney Kardashian's husband, he was like in a plane crash. He was like one of 2 survivors in a plane crash, which I thought was insane. And so then I went down this rabbit hole for like 2 hours. Looking into like Travis Barker's plane crash while on the plane back to Perth. So that probably didn't help my case when it came to border security. Maybe they thought, this guy's weird. He's looking like really deep into plane crashes. Because then I went into like a rabbit hole of like MH370, and I was like looking at all these theories about that. And I was doing that for like 2 hours while simultaneously watching the Kardashians. And so I probably look like a freak if airport security has access to the Wi-Fi on that plane and they can see my ChatGPT history. No surprises that I was stopped at the airport. But anyway, I realized that I had developed such an affinity to the Kardashians and all the people in this show, and I know so much about them now, and like I know and like and I guess trust them in a way so much because I have spent so much time with them, which sounds crazy because they do not know I exist. They are none the wiser of the existence of Jason Cleans, let alone Jason Shipway, And it's just so unlike me and so goes against like who I am as a person to just be so caught up in this and captivated by reality TV. But at the end of the day, we're all humans and we love the same stuff. We love drama. We love connection, even though if it's not, physical interperson connection with, people in the flesh. Like I feel connected to these people and their stories and all the little things about them. And we're going to get into why that's so important as well. And it just made me realize I had this big epiphany that, we all, if we're creating content on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, we all have our own reality TV shows that people are watching and people are binding themselves to us in a way that we don't even realize. There's people out there that are watching your content if you make content and they're developing that affinity towards you. They're beginning to trust you more. They're beginning to like you more. Every time you share an opinion or every time you post what you're eating for breakfast or what your favorite drink is or your dog, anytime they have that touch point or those like moments of like connection or resonation with you, they're drawn one step closer to you, or at least to the perception of you or your personal brand. And what that does in a business sense is it creates raving fans that will pretty much buy whatever you put out. Like if you have, okay, that's a bit of a micro example, but if you look at other influencers, if you look at other celebrities and actually famous people, not like Jason Cleans, a guy that makes cleaning videos on TikTok. If you look at proper celebrities, they have insane fan bases that literally will buy anything they ever put out and will defend them and die on any hill that they're put on because they just love these people so much. And so we can take that and we can harness that energy in something like a cleaning business. We can have like my TikTok. I make videos every couple of days. I never really thought much of it. And over time, you start getting these messages and you start getting comments on your videos and people are really engaging with you. And then that snowballs into people like, starting to pick up on things about your life. And they'll message you and be like, you and I have the same car, or like, oh, that restaurant, I love that place. I've been there so many times. Or we have the same like dog. Oh my God, I love this breed. And then like you share opinions and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know this person valued this or was a part of this initiative that I'm also interested in, or I didn't know you played that sport. And that, like, all these little touch points and all these things about you that make you, that because there's no other you in the universe. It is every single person in this world is extremely unique in their own ways. Even if we're all, if we zoom out, all of us in the cleaning industry, we're people that clean. But then you go in a little bit, okay, now we've got people that like to clean and they like to clean houses, and then there's people that clean windows and carpets, and then you zoom in on these people and they've got their own lives and they've got values, they've got missions, they've got hobbies, they've got interests, they've got political views and all these things. And the further and further you go down, the more divided that the fan bases get, if we want to think about it like that, the more divided the markets get. So the people that follow me and the people that really resonate with me are going to be completely different to the people that follow the next cleaning content creator. Even if we make nearly the exact same type of content, it's just the way that I come across in my videos and the things I talk about, it's going to attract different types of people. And, there's going to be some overlap. You're going to have some of the same followers or some of the same customers as other people adjacent to you that you might be different to. But at the end of the day, there's only one you. And the more you share about your life on social media, on your business page, as scary and as daunting as it may seem, it's going to help your target market and your existing customers to develop that like deeper understanding about what you do and that deeper connection to you and the business. And it's going to put you in a category of one where they don't want to shop anywhere else. They don't want any other cleaner. They don't want any other, they don't want to go to any other cafe. It's not about the food anymore. It's about the people behind it. It's not about the cleaner. It's about the person behind the business that they share the same beliefs with, the same values with, or even just like the same interests. And it doesn't even have to be like that. Like, I don't share many of the same interests with the Kardashians, I'm sure. I don't share many of the same hobbies as them. I'm not flying on private jets and, getting my acrylics done every week and like going to Mykonos and getting like all this stuff. But I follow their journey and I am a massive fan of what they're doing in their journey, if that makes sense. So there's like all these different ways that you can develop raving fans. You don't have to have a crazy over-the-top lavish lifestyle like a Kardashian. All you have to do is post about what you do. Make the invisible visible to other people. So Literally, if you currently make content online, make more of it and do more behind the scenes stuff so people can develop that fan type attraction to you. Some people might think that's a bit scary. They don't want to go that extra step further in their content. They don't want to have, quote unquote fans. They don't want people knowing too much about them. That's fine. That's a personal choice, but it will affect your ability to get the customers that you really want and affect the quality of the customers that you're potentially able to get at the end of the day, because it's not just going to create more customers for you. It's going to create more quality customers. People that resonate with you, people that like you and know you and trust you, because that's what puts you in a category of one. It's not your ability to clean. It's not your systems and processes. It's not the fancy colors on your website. It's about you as a person. That is what puts you in a category of one over every other cleaner out there in the big ocean, because we're all pretty much the same. We all do the same thing. Some people are a little bit better than others, but what really separates us is us. It is us as people. Okay, so I know people in this industry because I've got a lot of coaching clients, and a lot of them will tell me they've got clients who they consider friends, and those clients would never go anywhere else. And it's because, cold, faceless businesses that get lost in the sameness of all the other businesses that are out there, they attract price shoppers, they attract complainers that don't care about you, and people that, just don't respect boundaries and don't respect the business or you in general, because they don't have any sort of affinity or any attraction or any real respect for you, because they don't know, like, and trust you. Whereas in contrast, people that already like you, by watching your content and consuming things that you put out, they trust your pricing, they don't nitpick, they're not going to drain your energy, and they feel like they're buying from someone they know, which is the key, is that people want to buy from people. At the end of the day, that's all it is. If you want to get really, really rich and you want to do really, really well in business, just understand that people buy from people. And so gone are the days of faceless brands and if you look out there in the marketplace, there's so many founder-led companies now. You see that a lot of big companies, they have a face or they have a person or a mascot that's attached to it. And it's because it sucks in massive, massive hordes of people that become raving fans of that brand or of that product or of that service or business. And we can do it even in a boring industry like cleaning. You think about it, who's going to care about cleaning? Who's going to care about what I put out? You'd be surprised. And you don't need a massive audience for this to have a big effect in what you're doing. I've been experiencing the rewards of this since I very started on TikTok and Instagram. When I had less than 1,000 followers, I was still getting some customers that would say, oh, I saw your videos on TikTok. I saw your Bunnings shopping video was so good. And they would mention other videos I made at the time. Oh, that story about that employee that stole from you, that was crazy. I can't believe that. And I was like, oh my God, these people are consuming my content. And I'm now face to face with them, giving them a cleaning quote. And I didn't realize at the time, but that was what was elevating me above potentially other people that they were seeking quotes from, or, putting me in a category of one where they're not even looking for other quotes because they just want to get the guy that they've been watching on TikTok to clean their house because they know, like, and trust him. So you don't need to be super famous. You don't need to be Kardashian level or even anywhere near that. You just need to be able to step out of your comfort zone, because it can be uncomfortable for a lot of people to, put yourself out there and make the invisible visible and share your journey with strangers on the internet. But if your attitude and your mind is postured in the right way towards this idea, then it could have really, really great rewards for you and your business. Because you don't have to take it super far. You don't have to go crazy with it. But if you just share a little bit more than what you're currently doing, and if you do nothing at all, good news, because it's really easy to just post one thing a day. It could be a story on Instagram. It could be a video a week. It could be, a post here and there about where you've traveled to or where you've eaten. Just start to build this little personal brand for yourself, and don't worry about it looking unprofessional and it having overlap with your business. Because, take me as an example. I post everything about my life on Instagram. I post where I'm going. I post food I'm eating. I just posted, I was at the shops today and I bought a bunch of protein bars, and I just put a funny story up, and I was like, processed protein final boss, because I buy a ridiculous amount of protein bars, and I know it stirs some people up because they're like, how do you live like this? And these are disgusting and all this stuff. But then there's a crowd that's like, oh my God, I'm also like that. I'm like a fanatic freak when I go shopping and I buy all these protein bars. Like, all these stupid little things that I post, it ironically draws more and more people towards me, and it creates really good customers for me, like really high quality customers that don't care about price. They don't care about anything. They don't want to go shop with the next cleaner because they don't know the next cleaner like they think they know me, because they've been following me and consuming my content and, watching my reality show, which is just my Instagram and TikTok. And so I don't watch the Kardashians because I think that they're a family of scholars that are going to enlighten me and educate me on topics that I'm unaware about and bring things, maybe they do. I probably learn things from watching it, but I watch it because I know their personalities. I want to see how they're going to react to things. I want to see what's going on in their lives, and I feel like I know them. Okay, like I'm probably not going to learn how to grow my business and like run Google ads by watching the Kardashians or get anything really valuable out of it that I can apply to my life or my business. But it's mindless enjoyment and it's fun. And that's the type of world we live in. We live in a world of overconsumption. Everyone is consuming everything. If you post a story on Instagram, congratulations, you're now a creator. You're now an influencer with a platform that people are going to start consuming you with or consuming you on. And it doesn't have to be super consistent. I'm not even that consistent myself. I'm not posting every day on TikTok, but I'm posting enough and I'm posting more and more of my behind the scenes life for people to really notice and people to be drawn to me. And that's really the key. It's not about just posting business stuff. It's not about just like posting a before and after of something you've cleaned and showing a photo of you mopping a floor. It's really about going a layer deeper and making that invisible part of you visible to your core and cold audience as well that don't know you yet. It's about bringing them closer to you and encouraging them to have more proximity and more time with you and more consumption of your content. And the more touch points you have with your audience and potential customers, the closer it draws you to winning clients, because familiarity breeds trust and trust breeds attention. And this harmonious cycle is formed. And it's just this never-ending pinwheel that keeps turning and turning. And your audience continues to grow. And you gather this section of the market that is completely unique to you. And as silly as it sounds, it gives you a big competitive edge over other people in your market. And all it takes is consistency. It just takes personality, which everyone's got, even if you don't think you have a very vibrant and outgoing and likable personality, you've got one. Okay. It's like a lot of people don't think they're in shape. Round is a shape. You know what I mean? So it takes consistency, it takes personality, and it just takes repetition. You just have to keep beating the horse over and over again and just throwing stuff at the wall and not hoping that it sticks, because it's going to stick eventually. You just need to keep doing it again and again. And just share things about your day. Just peel back the curtain of what you're doing. And don't be afraid to share more of not only your business, but you as well. If it's not something you're willing to do, if it's too daunting or uncomfortable for you, you don't have to do it, but it is something that you're missing out on. That's all. And, it's a pretty cool thing when you have customers. Like I have customers every day that are coming to me and they don't go anywhere else because they are approaching me as a category of one. There is no other Jason Cleans. There is no other enhanced cleaning that they want to go to or that they can go to, because they've been consuming my content. They like what I'm about. They like my integrity. They like the things I talk about and the things I'm vocal about and my mission and my values in my business and in my life as well, the things that I do share. I do have boundaries for myself. I don't talk about things that are political on Instagram and TikTok and publicly. I'm not really that politically inclined. Like I'm pretty neutral about a lot of stuff. I don't really talk about, like wars and things like that. So you can draw a line. And then I see plenty of people that are very outspoken about that. Like one of my friends, she was on Married at First Sight, and she's very, very vocal and very outspoken about a lot of humanitarian stuff and just, current events and things like that. And she has a raving fan base, like absolutely raving, but very, very divisive, very polarizing. She's got people that absolutely hate her and people that absolutely love her and will follow her to the end of the earth and, can lap up whatever she puts out. She's got a podcast that people, thousands and thousands of people listen to because she does that for herself. She puts just an unfiltered, glimpse into her life on the internet, for better or for worse. I'm not fully prepared to do that. It's not something I want to do, but a lot of people do it and they really succeed at it, which is great. And if you're that way inclined, then more power to you. It's definitely a better way to go to attract even more raving fans. But at the end of the day, once you realize that we are all the exact same and we all offer the same services and we all pretty much look the same on the surface, the only thing that is differentiating us and making us a point of difference, or offering customers some sort of unique and new experience, is us, the people behind the brand and the business. And so the more we share of us and the deeper we go into the personal brand side of things, and the more we share about our vision, our mission, our values, interests, hobbies, things we did that day, and really just like posting, even just like real days. If you had a bad day, post about it. Talk about your grievances. People really just want to watch other people and they want to connect and they want to feel like they resonate with someone, and that someone else is going through the same things that they're doing, going through the same struggles, having the same wins, and like doing the same things that they like, because it makes you seem more human and it draws them closer to you. And from a business sense and a business standpoint, that is the hottest type of lead. It is the paramount of the lead scale. That is what we hope and dream of in anyone that could possibly become a customer. That is like the red hot lead that we're all looking for. And you can create it just by being the star of your own reality TV show, which you already have. You just need to post on it if you're not already, or post more on it. You've got a platform here. You don't need a lot of followers. You just need to do it. You just need to have consistency. You just need to show your personality, and you just need to have repetition and discipline with it. So that was my big takeaway from binge watching an obscene, probably unhealthy amount of the Kardashians over the last couple of months. And it is now also my ongoing justification for continuing to watch the Kardashians, because I now see solace in it. I now see that there is a business, a strategic business benefit in watching this mindless reality TV nonsense. And before anyone, wants to come for the what I'm saying about the Kardashians and how great they are, back off, because I will defend them with my life. Okay, if you have anything bad to say about the Kardashians, I don't care. I'm coming for you, and you don't want that, because I am now. What's a Kardashian fan? Am I what do they even call their fan base? Why do I not know this? I'm part of the fan base. I'm part of the fandom, and I don't know. I am literally going to Google this right now. What is a Kardashian fan called? Let's see. Okay, they don't have a name. Thank God. I thought I was a fake fan for a second that didn't know what our fan base nickname was. So it's fine. I'm a real fan, guys. Verified, live. You've seen it here. But Kardashians are amazing. I love that family. I love the show. I am absolutely captivated by it. I'm not going to stop watching it. I'm going to be very sad when I get to the end, because I'm on like season 5 of the new show on, Hulu. I actually haven't seen Keeping Up with the Kardashians yet. I've seen like a couple episodes of it, but when I finish the Kardashians, you best believe I'm going back to Keeping Up and watching like all 20 seasons or however many there are of that. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, how have they been on TV for this long? And then I realized that Kim Kardashian is 45. I don't know, that blew my mind, that number. She doesn't look 45. It's crazy. And yeah, anyway, I digress about the Kardashians. I think that we all should be posting more on social media. I think it is the biggest shift, and it's like the biggest revolutionary period of our time, or at least one of them. The ability to just garner fans and have a platform for next to nothing. Like even 10 years ago, if you wanted to develop a massive platform, like 15, 20 years ago, if you wanted to have a big platform, you needed to be like on radio or on TV or in magazines. And that was so far away from us and so far-fetched and unattainable for the vast majority of people. But now we have it at our fingertips. It's in our pocket. It's on our phone. All we have to do is post stories on Instagram and post posts of our life, and just begin to mix that with our business posting as well, and just put a bit more personality into your business. And don't be afraid to be the face and the voice of your brand, because It is going to create fans in the exact same way that the Kardashians have created a raving fan base for themselves. And what do they do that's special? Like, really, they have a cool lifestyle. It's very unique. But what do they do that's so special that has allowed them to have like 50 million seasons on TV? The answer is not much. Like, they're just a likable family and people can relate to them. And people love the drama and people love the day-to-day stuff. Like, it's so funny. The episode descriptions of the Kardashians, let me actually just read some of these out to you. I found this the funniest thing ever. It's like they don't even care. They're not even trying. You know, if you look up like the bio of a movie or like the synopsis of something or like the blurb of a book, it'll be like this really detailed description and it like puts you in there and it makes you feel like you're part of it and all this stuff. And then you look at an episode of the Kardashians and I'll just like quickly go and read on my phone, like scrambling on Disney Plus trying to find an episode right now. If you go on an episode of the Kardashian, let's just read some of these episode descriptions. Sorry, I'm getting so off track here, but I love the Kardashians now and I'm very passionate. So if you want to stick around for it, by all means, be my guest. Okay, here's some descriptions. So this whole episode, 41 minutes long, the entire description, Khloe coaches Kris through her masterclass taping. Okay? Next episode after that, Kim lands in paradise to shoot a highly anticipated cover. Awesome. That's it. That's the whole episode of, that's the whole description of like a 50-minute episode. And it works. And they're like super mega rich and they have millions of fans that watch the show. And that's all it is. They're just literally just like sitting around on a couch, talking all day about their grievances and things they've done and like sometimes fighting with each other, which is always fun. And that's all it takes. Like that's all it takes to build a raving fan base that will follow you to the end of times and buy anything you put out. And we can take that and we can migrate that to what we're doing in our businesses and we can post more. But the key is to post more of us, to intertwine our personality with our brand. So I hope that has hit the nail on the head. I hope that's inspired you to post more because it's changed my life in a lot of ways, just content in general. But I find the more I post about myself and who I am and I'm getting more comfortable just sharing opinions publicly and I'm finding like I'm getting more and more engagement when I do that. When I post what I think about something or like the type of food I eat and the places I'm going, more people are in my message requests and more people are like swiping up on stuff and commenting on posts. And that's where the fire is being ignited. That's where I'm building that connection with my audience. And from a business standpoint, that's where people are developing trust and rapport and, ultimately all of the markers and the metrics that they need to become a qualified lead and thus a customer for me. So it's a very, very powerful thing. It's crazy that we just have this at our disposal, at our fingertips every day. So many people waste the opportunity or completely overlook the fact and, they just get lost on the wayside consuming other people's content and they are forever just someone else's fan and they're not, ever doing anything for themselves, which is fine. Obviously not everyone in the world can be a creator, but I hope that if you're in this little corner of the world and you're listening to this podcast, that you have that ambition and that you're inspired to create because it's just the way the world is going and you don't want to get lost in the sea of endless doom scrolling. You should want to be on the forefront of it and using it to your strategic gain in business and capitalizing on that because it's not often we get these opportunities in life with anything. There's like, investment opportunities that pass us by and we're like, I almost pulled the trigger on that and I never did it. And there's all these fads and these trends that we pass up, that we tend to pass up. People are really slow to adopt AI and that's going to bite them in the butt. But this is like, if you thought it was easy to blow up on TikTok and Instagram 5 years ago, there's this saying, like the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. And the second best time is right now. So even if you feel like you have FOMO because you didn't start sooner and you feel regretful about that and you feel like your time has passed, the second best time, or the best time was yesterday. The best time was a year ago, a month ago, 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. So don't delay anymore. Go create content or create more content, share your personality and be consistent with it. So that's pretty much all. I hope my Kardashian-induced psychosis has elevated you in some way or inspired you in some way and motivated you. that's really it. I'm just a massive fan of the Kardashians, and I've made a 30-something minute episode about it, which is insane. If you told me I was going to be doing this a year ago, I would have laughed at you in the face. I'm not the type of person that thought I would ever watch this stuff, but here we are, and I'm loving it. So yeah, looking forward to the year ahead. I'm going to do a lot more travel. I haven't been traumatized too much by my border force experience. So yeah, Europe was really fun. Highly recommend. Like the places I went, I guess they're not very common places to go. I went to Malta. I went to Sicily in Italy. Obviously not a very common destination out of all the places in Italy. And I went to Athens in Greece. Like just unreal spots. I haven't really explored much of the world, but they were just incredible. I really loved my time there, and I can't wait to go back. So I'll be doing a lot more travel, and best believe if you keep up with me on Instagram, I will be posting all of it on there, and I'm just going to be posting a lot more in general because there is a great deal of power in doing such. And if you're listening to this, it's because you are consuming my content. And if you've been listening for a while, you probably have developed that kind of affinity and that attraction for me and the things that I put out and the opinions I have and all of that stuff. And, you know, people apply to have me coach them one-on-one, even though I don't really advertise it. And it's because they've been following me and they consume my stuff and they know and they like and they trust me. And that's all it is. Those are the three main markers here that we're trying to hit on in business and in what we're doing. It's all that really matters. So if you can do that through your content, you're going to win, and you're going to be way better off than 99% of other people who are just either too scared to pull the trigger or they just never want to do it and like they're too uncomfortable. Whatever the reason is, don't be the consumers, be the creators, and watch the Kardashians. That's my advice for today. So thanks so much for listening. I hope this episode wasn't too like weird and wacky. Actually, I don't even really care. It was a good tone shift. It was a good way to mix things up. So hope you enjoyed it. Have an amazing rest of your day or evening. Now, I'm going to go watch season 6, episode 2 of the Kardashians where, what does it say? Kim faces the Met Gala after dealing with backlash from the night before. Oh my God, I can't wait. That sounds riveting. All right, that's me for the next half an hour. Take care. Love you all. Bye for now.